Guys, in this video, I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about the similarities and the differences between the Sig Sauer P320 and the Glock 19X. Now, as most of you all know, that the military recently chose the Sig P320, or I should say a version of it, to be their new sidearm. Glock came in a very close second with the 19X, and in this video I just wanted to talk about some of the reasons why I think that they may have gone with the Sig over the Glock. There are certain advantages and disadvantages of each, and of course that's what we want to talk about in this video. I know that this is not the exact pistol that the military chose. It does not have the manual safety, but it is very similar to this gun. I mean, this would be basically the M18 if it had a manual safety. If you look at the similarities between the standard 320 and the one released to the military, basically the manual safety is about the only difference in that firearm, as well as the color. These are a truly modular firearm. I mean, basically the fire control group in the firearm is the gun. The grip module, the slide, everything else can be changed. If you had a grip module that was damaged for whatever reason, you could simply replace the grip module at a much lower expense than what you could replace the frame on a Glock for. Now, if something happens to this, you have to replace the whole lower assembly. You basically have to buy a new gun, where if something were to happen with the Sig P320, the grip on it, the grip module on it, you can simply swap to another grip module. You can also customize the grip module based upon the size of the shooter, depending on the size grip module that you go with. The Glock, it's a little different. You do have the back strap, and you can basically put on a different size back strap, but that's basically it. Of course, both firearms, in my opinion, are a very good, reliable firearm. I know that Sig Sauer has caught a lot of controversy over the 320 because of a lot of false information, in my opinion. Early on, Sig had an issue with a heavier trigger, that if they were dropped at just the right angle, you could have a negligent discharge. Since that time, Sig has made changes to the firearm that has resolved that problem. There are a lot of stories out there of issues with this firearm still. However, when you get to investigating them, you will know that that comes down to mishandling of the firearm. We hear a lot about law enforcement officers in some cities that have supposedly shot themselves with their Sig going off on its own. And of course, if you get to investigating that more deeply, you will see that it comes down to the firearm being mishandled. Okay, there has been a lot of controversy over these firearms, but in another video that I've got, I break down the safeties in this firearm and show you exactly what would have to fail before this firearm could go off on its own. So go over and check out that video. I will try to leave it in the card of this video to where you can check that out. The Glock, one of the differences on the Glock, of course, is this little trigger dongle that keeps the trigger from being pressed as easy unless that is first collapsed. Okay, you must first collapse that little dongle before the trigger can be pressed. That is one of the safeties that is on the Glock. And as you can see, if I just push on the trigger sideways without collapsing that dongle, it does not move. That is something that the Sig trigger does not have. Okay, it's basically it's just a trigger, just a standard trigger. Once you press that trigger, you go through and it will break. Both of these guns are very reliable. I've not had issues with either of them. And, the Glock, there are areas of the military, of course, the Navy SEALs had switched to the Glock here a few years back as far as their official firearm, but as I had said before, there is a, at that level, those guys can carry whatever they want. I actually do a comparison between the Mark 25 and the Glock 19 in another video as well, so go over and check it out on my channel. Either way, guys, I think that the military does have a solid firearm. I think that each have advantages. I really think that modularity design of the Sig P320 with the ability of being able to swap things much easier than what you could on a Glock is one of the reasons why that they chose the M17, M18, which is basically the 320, which is representative of what we have here. Of course, the firearm that Glock submitted, the only difference between it and the one that was released to the civilian market, of course, is the manual safety, something that the military required. But I think that either way, they got a good choice. They had a lot to go with. There were a lot of different manufacturers out there that submitted some pretty interesting firearms to these trials. Personally, me, I'm a fan of the Glock. I'm also a fan of the Sig. Probably a little more of the Glock, but that's just my own personal preference. But absolutely in no way is there anything wrong with the Sig P320. But guys, those are just a few of my thoughts. I would like to know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Do you think that the military made the right choice choosing the Sig over the Glock, or do you think that they should have gone with the Glock, or is there another firearm out there that they should have gone with? Let me know down in the comments below. Guys, check out the other videos on my channel. I go into a little more detail on each of these firearms as far as the safeties on this. I also do the comparison between the Glock 19 and the Mark 25, as I mentioned earlier as well in another video. But guys, thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel. Check out all the links down in the description, and we'll see you next time.